Let's make lemonade. Okay. Let's go to work.
That's the signal! Go, 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 go! 6! It's beautiful! Mother Nature just pissed her pants, dude!
Wake up and hit the ground running. It's The Rush, presented by Willis Auto, with Travis Justice and Ross Peterson bringing you raw, unfiltered, and unapologetic talk about sports, life, and everything else that matters. No filtered, no fluff, just The Rush.
Happy Thursday, everybody. Welcome to the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. Good to have you along this morning. Waking up to a chilly outside, maybe even in your house. If you're listening on the audio stream at therushladio.com and the Rush Radio Android app or the TuneIn app, thank you so much. If you're watching on YouTube this morning, hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and start leaving your comments in the comment section. And follow us on X, Facebook, and Instagram. And Ross, I don't know if you saw this yesterday, I created a LinkedIn business page for us. We are now officially on LinkedIn. Cool. Well, I did it because, because I wanted to show kind of my work history and stuff like that. And so I put the Rush Radio, but it didn't have like a logo to it. It just looked like something that was made up. So I'm like, screw it. I'll make a business page, and that way we can have our logo on there, and it shows that you and I are doing this. And I put us as co-owners and co-hosts.
I will also make
show.
sure I get us a MySpace page later on today, and we'll.
I'm telling you, you are missing an opportunity with LinkedIn. I'm just telling you.
You've been telling me that for. I had a LinkedIn page for a while, and I think I was just way. I mean, I can tell you, my profile on LinkedIn still has me as an award-winning producer for the Michelson in the Morning program.
Oh wow!
I remember because somebody reached out to me a couple months ago, and they were like, "Dude, I found you on LinkedIn." I was like, "No, you didn't." They're like, "Is this you?" I'm like, "Yeah." That was me about 3 lifetimes ago.
You brought up Michelson yesterday in your social media post.
Yeah, I was thinking about him yesterday, man. I was having a reminiscing mood yesterday. Several times yesterday, I've caught myself like, and apparently it worried. Our buddy Mark Hanrahan reached out. He's like, "Hey, man, you okay?" I said, "Yeah, dude. Yeah, I'm just in a real reminiscing mood." And I'm trying to do that thing, Travis, where when I think about a friend, I reach out to him. And I say, "Hey, proud to call you my friend. Happy that you've been in my life. Thanks for everything you do." And that worries people. I did that. My best friend, I say my best friend, but I have a great group of friends. But I was thinking about my buddy Scotty the other day. He was running through my head, and I reached out to him. I'm like, "Man, I don't tell you enough how proud I am to call you my friend. I love you. I'm proud of you. I think you're great." And he wrote back, "You good?"
It's one of the goes. Is Ross saying goodbye to us? No, that's not what I'm doing. I'm not cleaning my affairs up.
And Hanrahan did the same thing yesterday. He's like, "Hey man, I just saw your post. If you ever need anything, don't hesitate to reach out." And I said, "Hey man, that means a lot. I promise I'm doing great. I really am. I'm super happy in life right now. I've got a great work-life balance thing happening. Charter gets this a lot, man. I get out on the lake and I start to, I spend time with God. I start to think about my life. I get very appreciative of things. And I'll reach out to Mark and go, "Hey, man, I just spent a Tuesday morning out on a lake and I don't have much to worry about. I'm happy. And a lot of this is because of you. A lot of this is because of you convincing me to get into real estate and really affect my life in a positive way. And just wanted to reach out and say, love you and thank you." And Charter's pretty good about going, "Don't be gay," something like that. But when you reach out to people and you do that, sometimes they are like, "You all right, man?" I go, yeah. I'm not doing good. I'm doing great. And I think that's why I'm appreciative of all the things that I have in my life right now. And that includes friends. And luckily, Travis, I hope that because we do this from time to time. I hope you know how appreciative I am of you. I saw a couple messages yesterday that reminded me of the type of friend that you've been for me.
Really?
Oh, dude, yeah. Listen, Coach Hersom reached out to us yesterday and sent us a really nice message about the show, about how he feels like he's very happy that you have joined me and done this thing, and that we've kind of continued what we started.
And we didn't change it up. I mean,
Haven't changed it. We're trying to
what
do
we
the
did
same
before
thing.
is what we're doing now. And I was a big believer in that. Remember, we talked about I don't want to change a thing. Our format, our chemistry, everything works. I want to run a regular radio show and treat it as such, and that's what we wanted to do. We didn't want people to go, well, what are we watching or listening to now?
And it's not lost on me what you walked away from and the gamble that you took to come and join me. It's not lost on me. And I probably don't tell you enough how appreciative I am of that. This has been an amazing run. This has been so much fun to do this thing. And it's fun to see it grow, and the black and gold rush has been a blast. So anyway, I've just been very reflective and appreciative. And then yesterday I ended up going back. I had to drop off a check in Pleasant Hill for some sellers. I sold my friend BJ's mom and dad's house, the house that my buddy grew up in. I sold that. And I ended up back in Pleasant Hill, and I went and picked up my sign and my lockbox, and I was a block away from the house that I grew up in. The house that I sold, my buddy's grandpa was like a forefather of Pleasant Hill. His name was Ralph Grant. He was one of my dad's best friends. He was a wonderful fisherman. There's a gazebo in Doanes Park called the Ralph Grant Memorial Stage. And so thinking about all those things, I ended up going past the old house, went into the old park, checked out the old gazebo. I decided I was going to snap a photo because where I grew up, we had this long, skinny front yard, and my dad planted this little tree right in the middle of the yard. Well, that became second base. The mailbox was first base, the tree was second base, the flower bed was third base, and that was how we built the field when we were kids. So my buddies that played with me, now this thing is a freaking tree, dude. Now it's 40 feet tall. It's a real tree now. You know, you'd need two people to wrap your arms around the trunk of it. And so I shot a photo and sent that to my buddies and said, man, again, being very appreciative of all those things, I've got this group of buddies that I've had since kindergarten. And that's rare. That's really rare to have friends of 40-plus years. My buddy Josh Christensen had this great line when we were kids. When we were like 17, 18 years old, I remember we were sitting on a roof watching the stars one night, and he goes, dude, we've known each other longer than we've known ourselves. Yeah, what a great line, man. What a great line.
That is a great line. Very good line.
Yeah, and so anyway, that was my day yesterday, was just being reminiscent about the blessings that God's put in my life.
Well, you mentioned reaching out to people. This wasn't on the show rundown, but you brought it up right before we went on the air, and you were talking about Mike Trout and reaching out to friends and trying to help.
That's good. Yeah, you're right.
And so, I mean, it just seems like a natural segue into this. And that, why don't you go into the story a little bit, because I know a little bit about it, but you did a little bit deeper dive than I did. But Mike Trout was a friend that reached out. It didn't work out, but he noticed something was wrong with one of his buddies and tried to help, but it didn't work.
So I got kind of nervous because I saw this thing that Mike Trout was testifying in the Tyler Skaggs thing. Now, remember, Tyler Skaggs was the pitcher for the Angels who overdosed on drugs. And they eventually found out that he had been receiving the drugs from I want to say a team doctor, but I want to be clear about that. It was the communications director, so it wasn't a team doctor.
Were these pills, or was it?
Yeah, I think it was pills.
Yeah.
And Trout found out that these two things were happening. Trout found out that Eric Kay, who was the former communications director, was the one that was giving drugs to his teammate, Tyler Skaggs. And through the testimony, you find out that Mike Trout tried to basically confront him and say, hey, you got to stop this. Like, you've got kids. You're gambling with way too much here. And, of course, there's only so much you can do, man. We all have free will, and I just admired that. I read that story, and I thought, man, what an admirable guy Mike Trout is. Like, behind the scenes, he's the guy that you hope he's going to be.
It's funny that you said you were worried, because I didn't click on the story, and the headline is clickbait, because I didn't want to read something bad. I thought it was bad about Mike Trout too, because the headline is, "Oh no, Mike Trout was involved some way," and I'm glad, and I'm like, I just don't want to read it because I don't want to know anything bad about the dude, right? So that's a much better story. But if you do read the headline, you're like, uh-oh, Mike Trout was involved in this in some way.
Exactly what I did. I was like, oh, man, come on. Not Mike Trout. And then I read the story, and I'm like, yeah, Mike Trout. Good for him. Good. And that's hard, dude. That's hard. To call a friend and say, hey, man, I got to call you out on something. That's difficult. That takes balls. Real guts, like real body parts. You gotta have real guts to call a friend and say, hey, man, I've seen you doing something that I don't think you should be doing.
But he can only do so much because it ended in tragedy. But but it does help if you notice something, say something.
Yeah.
And somebody earlier, I think it was Jason, said that Ross wears his emotions on his sleeves. He does. I probably don't as much as you. I mean,
No.
if you were to come here every day and go, Trav's in a bad mood, you would. I try not to let people know. I try to be pretty consistent in my
Travis,
delivery each and every day.
You are. This is, again, I'm not to fluff your pillow here at all. I've said this to you. I've said this to a lot of people. I've known 3 people in my life that can do what you do. Show up every day the same guy. Jan Michelson, Keith Murphy, and you. I know you have bad days because I know your life. I know you got stuff at work that's happening. You got worries about the kids. There's things you have your money issues, that pop up from time to time. You show up the same day. You show up the same guy. 6 a.m. hits, and it's the same energy every single day. It's consistent, and that's what I think that helps people every day to have something that is consistent and solid and is there. And I've always admired that. Michelson was the same way. It was just incredible how every morning, good morning, friends. Welcome to our Thursday morning get-together. And that was almost like his little mental reset of, all right, show is on. I'm doing this thing. And that could come minutes after us having a conversation just like this, man. We can have a conversation going into the show, and I'm like, oh, man, I think Trav's having a bad day. Boom, show starts, you're there. It's like, whoa, that guy does it. He does the same thing. Murph's the same way. Got to know Keith Murphy, which was an honor to call him a friend. And you see it, and you go, oh, man, yeah, he has bad days. Why don't I see it? And then, I beat myself up. I think a lot of people do that. I go, I wish I could be like that. But that's not me.
It's not.
I'm emotion on my sleeve guy. I'm dramatic. That's the word that's the nice word that Courtney uses for me. Boy, you're awfully dramatic. I said, that's a good word. And
is that a nice way of calling you a drama queen? Is that a nice way of calling you a drama queen?
It's the nicest way of calling me a little bitch. I think she would like to call me, you being a little bitch right now, right? But she doesn't. She doesn't say that to me. She says, oh, you're being dramatic. Anyway.
A lot of people, commenting about how cold it is outside, and I think it's like 38, 36 degrees outside. And I go to you, I go, hey, have you turned your furnace on yet? And you're like, yeah, I did a couple days ago. Of course, we had Josh on from Priority One. And if you want to get your furnace fixed or even serviced before you turn it on, go to Priority One or call priority1.com. But I haven't turned my furnace on yet, man. Haven't turned it on. And we were in the kitchen, we were in the dining room last night. Yeah, I still have a dining room. And we were sitting there eating. I go,
guy's got a beautiful home. How's an asshole like Travis have such a beautiful house?
I go, it's cold in here. I looked over, it's 62 degrees in the house, 62. And I'm like, Ange, it's cold. She goes, do you want me to turn the furnace on? And then I'm like, okay, I don't have any kids here. It's just you and I. We're going to crawl into bed. We're going to use our body heat. You're going through menopause anyway, so you're like a furnace right now.
She likes it cold. Yeah.
She likes it cold. And then I start going, well, I'm not running the air conditioner. I'm not running the furnace. All I hear is savings, 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 savings. I'm not spending money. So therefore I go, don't turn it on. Don't turn it on. Yeah. The only thing I noticed this morning that I have to get in the next week or two is, because I ruined my old ones, is a nice pair of like bedroom slippers. I know that sounds really weird, but I'm sitting here barefoot. I have a hoodie on. I have some like jammy pants on.
What? You're a grown man.
These are what I sleep in. Jammy pants. They're jammy pants.
I have a couple of pairs of those. I wear them for like minutes at a time at night. You know what I mean? It's one of those if I take an afternoon shower or a nighttime shower like 7:30, I'll throw those on for the last. But Travis,
You don't sleep in jammy pants?
No.
Oh, I sleep in jammy pants.
No, yeah, they just fit strange. I don't know the right way to say this.
I've always just, years ago, I was an underwear sleeper. I would get, I would just sleep in my underwear.
Yeah.
Then in the summer, then all of a sudden, a couple years ago, I moved to summertime. I'm a mesh shorts, like a athletic shorts type guy. And then when it gets cold outside,
no
I wear
underwear?
No, I wear underwear
okay,
underneath them.
Okay. Yeah.
But for some reason, I wanted an extra layer, so I sleep in shorts. And then when it gets wintertime, I sleep in jammy pants.
Slippers and jammy pants.
And
Dude,
now I want slippers.
You're like a Bob Newhart.
All I need is a pipe. Is to sit on. All I need is a pipe, not that pipe, Ray. Just a big old pipe with a book. I can put my glasses down like I'm reading and look really, really old. That's what I can do. That's what I can do.
I like how you clarified the pipe thing. None of us were thinking the Ray pipe, but I like how you clarified it.
Yeah, you got to. You got to clarify just so everybody gets on the same page. Coming up at 7 o'clock, Todd Stepsis, the head coach of the Northern Iowa Panthers, is going to join us. I emailed him yesterday. I said, hey, you're not getting sick of talking to us, are you? Because they lost again last week. It was closer.
Yeah, man.
But he goes, no, I'm never going to get sick of you guys, which is always good to hear a head coach who's going through a losing streak say. So Todd Stepsis is going to be joining us at 7 o'clock. And then at 7:30, Bruno's going to jump in and have a conversation. They got an Octabox coming up that's kind of a shared thing that's pretty cool they want to talk about. So we'll hear from Bruno.
And don't forget, if you didn't hear it yesterday, they are giving away a $50 gift card to somebody that signs up for the newsletter through the Rush Radio. So
that's right.
Sign up for the newsletter. You got a shot at winning a $50 gift card to Full Court Press establishments.
And you do that by going to fullcourtpressdm.com. That's fullcourtpressdm.com. Right there on the homepage, you just scroll down just a little bit. It says sign up for the newsletter. If you do that, you will be registered to win a $50 gift card. And good news is a lot more coming up with Full Court Press, a lot more giveaways coming up, but you're going to have to be a newsletter subscriber to be able to get in on those deals. So make sure to sign up for the Full Court Press newsletter at fullcourtpressdm.com. We talked about Mike Trout. Let's just dive right into baseball because in the second half hour, I want to talk about a Hawkeye Virgin this weekend. I think this is a big deal. Joey Vitello was named the manager of the San Francisco Giants yesterday, making Major League Baseball history. This is the first time in Major League Baseball history a head coach from a college program has gone directly to the majors to become a major league manager. And Major League Baseball, if you've covered minor leagues, if you've been around this, it's a good old boys club. Buddy. It is a good old boys club.
To a level, Travis, that I didn't even understand. I knew that. I was blown away that this is the first time in Major League Baseball history that a manager has been hired directly from the college ranks. No professional experience. And again, we kind of use those loosely right now. That blows me away that at no point in time has a college baseball coach, because, man, we've had some amazing college baseball coaches over the years. So, Travis, do you think, is it okay if we pause here for a second before we go to the other? Because why do you think that is? Is it because, I'm really having a hard time understanding it. Is it just the jobs are that different?
No, if you go back 20 years, Major League Baseball poo-pooed college baseball. They pushed away from college baseball for the longest time. They didn't want their draft picks to go to college. They wanted those kids right out of high school. Then all of a sudden you started seeing the level of play, and I'll credit you, Tripp, and the development of this for baseball. And all of a sudden the play of college baseball got a lot better, and people started taking it. And then you started seeing, Ross, the draft picks start really sway from the high school level to the college level, and what that did is that sped up the time of going in the minor league system to the pros, right? I mean, Mark Pryor can be one. I mean, you can start naming a lot of guys.
Paul Skeens is the latest example.
Yeah, Paul Skeens is a good example.
That's a good point, yeah.
And I just think, I mean, Nomar Garcia-Parra. I remember Nomar playing for Georgia Tech in the College World Series. So, I mean, you started slowly seeing the level of talent get better in the college ranks. Then all of a sudden, the pros started going, okay, the development at the college level is pretty good. But they never took the jump like college basketball, where you saw college basketball coaches go to the NBA or college football coaches go to the National Football League. We've even seen NHL coaches go from college to the pro ranks. Baseball is held on to that tradition of, in most cases, I'm not saying all, in most cases, you could say that most managers have Major League Baseball playing experience. It was a...
Dude, I can name the ones that don't.
Yeah,
Buck Showalter, there's very few.
But they probably were in the minor league system at some point, right? I mean, you had professional, maybe not Major League Baseball, and it was this good old boys club to where, man, you have to know the culture, understand. And I just think now, and I think what may have driven this, and I'm just guessing here, is the Milwaukee Brewers situation. Now, Murphy after he got fired at Arizona State, because he was always a college coach. He was at Notre Dame, then he went to Arizona State. He got fired for a major cheating scandal. He got into the coaching ranks. Now he got into coaching and then got up to manager. But you look what Murphy's done with the Brewers and you go, okay, he spent most of his managerial career as a head coach of a college baseball team. And then you kind of go, well, if he has success at that level, why wouldn't somebody else who is a great recruiter, won a national title a couple years ago, young, energetic, why not take a chance? What do the Giants have to lose? They haven't finished above, third in the division since like 2017.
And remember, they were on a run.
Yeah.
They were one of the most consistent franchises in baseball for about a decade. Yeah.
I actually think this is a bigger story than most news outlets are giving it. Maybe it's because I'm so close to college baseball.
You like college baseball, but I totally agree with you, Trav. I read this story, and I was literally like, "What the hell? This is the first time a guy's gone directly from college." Like, think of how many times that's happened in football.
A lot.
We could name a dozen guys that have gone back and forth, and it's almost an interchangeable. I mean, not quite. There's a good old boys system in the NBA coaches ranks. There's a good old boys system in the NFL coaching ranks, but at least in those two, you do see guys kind of going back and forth, and it is obviously more common than never, like it had been in baseball till this move. I literally was like, this is crazy that this is the first time in Major League Baseball history this has happened.
Now, Vitello actually considered staying at Tennessee, and it'd be interesting. He's a fiery coach. I mean, he's outspoken.
How old is he? Looks like
he's 47.
God, he looks like he's 30.
He's 47 years old. Now, the way you manage a major league club and the way you manage a college club are two different things. I mean, you do have to be kind of that raw guy. You got to, so you're going to have to change a little bit. But Ross, I credit the Giants for taking a shot. What do you got to lose? I mean, sure, you can say, well, you could lose a lot, but we've seen the cycles in Major League Baseball. You have to bring in talent. But if this works, if Joey Vitello has success at the Major League ranks, we will see this more often. There's a lot of good coaching in college baseball. A lot of good coaching. And I think if this works out, we will see more college coaches make the jump to Major League Baseball. And Major League Baseball go, you know what? The old ways of doing things where you got to work your way up through the system, be part of that good old boys club, get in that inner circle, may just disappear. And I'm glad he took it to kind of break that barrier. If it doesn't work, you go, you know what? At least he gave it a shot. Yeah. At least he said, because you're probably sitting there going, I'm making a lot of money at Tennessee. I'm comfortable. But if you don't do hard better, or at least cross a barrier for other guys, and he has to consider other guys behind me. He needs to go, you know what? There's other good coaches behind me. If I make this work, it may be a pathway for other college coaches to go, I can go to the major leagues. I mean, you're in the show now, man. You are managing in the show.
Travis, I don't think I would have had foresight to realize that I was doing it for other people as well. I wouldn't have seen it as like I'm a trailblazer here, and I get to be the first one of many if I do this the right way. I wouldn't have thought of it that way.
Am I wrong in thinking that?
Not at all. Not at all. I think that's really astute to look back and go, oh, look at this. If I'm good at this, maybe this carves a path for other people to be able to make this jump. I'm rooting for the guy, man. I didn't realize he was 47 years old. Now I'm having that because that's how old I am. And I just had that thing in my life, like, what have I accomplished with my life?
You've done a lot with your life. You've done a lot with your life.
I'm really happy. Go back to the way we started the show. I'm really happy. But do you have that thing from time to time? You hear somebody's age.
Every freaking day I have that. Every day. It drives my wife nuts because, like, I'm a failure, right? And you were just talking about how I come on with the same energy and everything every day.
But I see this part of you too. I know that
you're just like
this. That's why I'm impressed by it.
And I think it's because I'm 55 now, and you're like I'm on the back end, not the front end, and you go, God, what have I really done? I'm scrolling through the phone yesterday, and all of a sudden it must be reading my mind. You need to stop now and start. If you're over 55, you need to start trading today. And I'm like, I need to trade stocks. I've never traded a stock before in my life.
But
I'm going to
jump into the game.
I should jump into the game. That should be my casino. Just start trading stocks now. With this app, we're going to make you an expert trader within 3 months. So I go through the little questionnaire they run. By December 25th, you will be 100% confident in trading.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, just like if you start your Tai Chi today, look at how you're going to look by Thanksgiving.
Yeah. I haven't done Tai Chi since the day I did it on the TV down here. I don't know why. Because you're in a room doing Tai Chi by yourself, and you're like, this is stupid. This is just dumb.
Until it's not.
Maybe, probably.
It's kind of like going to the gym. It really is. You go to the gym, and you're like, this is dumb. All these guys are jacked and yoked, and I'm a skinny little pencil neck.
Well, I get asked a lot, how'd you lose all the weight?
Yeah, I get asked a lot, how did Travis lose the weight?
And people are when I tell them I didn't work out once and I did it all with diet, you could see their face go, you mean I'm going to the gym every day and I don't have to? No, it's good that you go to the gym. I just don't like to work out. It's not my game. I don't like to do physical activity like that.
I don't mind the physical activity. We've talked about this, dude. It's the stretching. I love going to church. I don't like I don't necessarily care for the singing at the beginning of church. You know what I mean? We start every service with like a couple of songs, and it doesn't do much for me. And so I look at it like stretching. I'm like,
can we get to the message, please? Can we get to the message?
Can we get to the weights? And they go, no, you got to stretch this before you go and do that, or you're going to hurt yourself. And I just want to go in and hurt myself. I just want to jump in. Was that a half hour? Are you serious?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, dude, today's
time flies. When we come back, we're going to talk about a Hawkeye virgin. I got a Hawkeye virgin on my hands, and he wants advice. But if you're heading to the big game, whether it's in Iowa City or Ames this weekend, head to Central City Liquors first because they have whatever you want. More than 165 single malts, 130 tequilas, 50-plus bourbons on hand. They also stock mixers, wine, spirits, beers, seltzers, everything you need at Central City Liquors, 1460 2nd Avenue in Des Moines. It is the Rush Radio Show powered by Willis Automotive.
The Rush Radio is now on the free TuneIn app, allowing you to enjoy the show on Apple products and Android Auto. Download the free TuneIn app and search The Rush Radio to take Travis and Ross wherever you go.
Your house wasn't built for bats, birds, or raccoons, but try telling them that. At Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions, we've been helping Iowans take back their homes for over 20 years. We use cost-effective, eco-friendly methods to solve wildlife and pest problems the right way. Whether it's bats in your attic, birds in the vents, raccoons in your chimney, or moles in your yard, we have long-term solutions. Call Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions today at 515-218-3400, and let's make sure your home doesn't become their home.
There's more Iowa in the Iowa Tap Room than you may realize. Housed in a building nearly as old as Iowa itself, the Iowa Tap Room greets you with a harvest of 120 Iowa craft beers on tap from all corners of the state. And the food doesn't get much more Iowa than this. The Iowa Tap Room, all Iowa beer, one amazing place.
There's always something new at Fong's Pizza. The patio is open and ready for you, your friends, and an ever-changing menu of tiki drinks. Or try our new noodle dishes alongside your favorite slice. It's all happening this summer at the new Fong's in the East Village.
Thinking about buying a home? Get pre-approved in 30 minutes with Gary Presnell at Northwest Bank in Des Moines. Gary offers first-time home buyers programs, VA, FHA, IFA, and conventional loans. Call Gary at 515-975-6767 or find his profile at nw.bank. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
You know, Brian, at Central City, we really do have the best selection around.
I know. High-quality stuff. You can't find anywhere else.
Whistle Pig Plantation Rum.
Yeah, and over 150 of the best scotches on earth.
And a ton of bitters, mixers, and more.
You know what we are? High class.
Definitely high class, yeah.
Make way for the natty.
Okay, maybe medium class.
Central City Liquor is home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the Wooden Nickel program.
A fuel choice that even rivals can agree on? Now that's worth the hype. Cheaper, cleaner, and homegrown. Pump it up with Unleaded 88.
After Hawkeye football games this fall, Travis and Ross are right where they belong, with you taking your calls and giving unfiltered feedback. Right after Hawkeye football games, it's the Black and Gold Rush on the rushradio.com, the TuneIn app, and on YouTube.
Hi, Nate Shoesmith with Willis Cadillac. I'm the newest addition to the team. Wanted to introduce myself and let you guys know what awesome deals we have on our EVs today. This month we have 2.9% up to 60 months on our Cadillac Optic, Lyric, and Vistic. For all you Escalade fans out there, we are happy to have 3 in stock right now available. We also have this beautiful blue 2026 CT5V, new for the year color. If you'd like to schedule a test drive, visit us at williscadillac.com or visit our showroom today.
Back like a rash you thought was gone. Travis and Ross aren't contagious, but they are addictive. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
Welcome back to the Rush Radio Show. You might see that I'm wearing a Rush Radio hoodie. It's comfortable, it's warm, and I'm also drinking my coffee out of a Rush Radio coffee mug. If you haven't got your hoodie yet, if you haven't got your coffee mug yet, go ahead and scan that QR code in the screen right now. That if you're watching on YouTube or if you're listening on the audio stream, go to therushradio.com, click on the merch tab, and get your Rush Radio gear. You can get it all at therushradio.com. Just click the merch tab or scan the QR code. And, of course, 15% of sales go to Can Play Iowa. Can Play Iowa. Ross, of course, you got Iowa State at home Saturday against BYU, but you also have the Floyd of Rosedale game, Minnesota and Iowa, the rivalry that is a trophy game. And I called you yesterday because I wanted some advice. I've got a coworker and a friend. His name's Joe. Joe is going to his first ever Iowa game this weekend. Now, he's from Omaha. His girlfriend is a huge Iowa fan. One of his best friends, huge Iowa fans. So they're getting him in the car, driving him over, and taking him to Kinnick Stadium for the very first time. He is a Kinnick Stadium Iowa Hawkeye virgin. And he comes up to me and he goes, hey, what do I do? And I said, listen, I'm going to be honest with you. Doing the Black and Gold Rush, it's been years since I've been to Kinnick Stadium. It's been years just because of what we've been doing over the last 10, 11 years. After games, doing a radio show, it doesn't allow us to go to games. You've gone to a couple and been able to get back. And I said, you know what? I'm going to use the platform that I have to get ideas for him, because he wants to have a good time. He's a little nervous because he's a Husker fan at heart going into, what he views as enemy territory, but he's with a bunch of Iowa fans. He's driving over. I think they're leaving Saturday morning. Now, it's a 2:30 game. I told him, I said, Joe, go over Friday night. Enjoy the morning at Kinnick Stadium. Don't get there with like 2 hours before game, because you're going to miss a lot of opportunity.
Boy, Trav, that's the very best first piece of advice right there. Get there early, because you could get there an hour before kickoff and walk to Kinnick Stadium and go into Kinnick Stadium and see some of the pregame stuff and catch that atmosphere. That's not you're absolutely right. Get there early, and then, like Ryan just wrote, take it all in. But what are some specifics that I would say to do? I have been lucky enough to go to Kinnick a little bit more often than you, a little bit more recently than you, and that's because of our buddy Bill Blank, who, by the way, had a wonderful conversation with him yesterday. It always ends with "I love you," which is very cool. But Bill was calling me yesterday. I'm just a quick divergent about, and we'll get to Bill and Kinnick Stadium. He calls me last night, and I was actually at church, and I'm like, hey, man, can I call you back? And he said, please do. I'm like, oh, no, something's wrong. So I called him back, and I'm like, hey, man, what's going on? And he goes, hey, dude, what do you got going on next Friday night, the 31st? I go, I don't know. Why? And he goes, want to go see Bone Thugs? I'm like, hell yeah.
Bone Thugs?
On the 31st of the month. You're damn right I want to go see Bone Thugs. So I'll be at Bone Thugs next Friday night with Bill Blank.
Okay.
There's going to be a good time.
Nice.
But Bill has those tickets in the front row of the north end zone, and he was gracious enough to give those tickets to me so I could take my son a couple years ago for the Connor Stallions Michigan game, ironically. But Bill would be a great guy to talk to about this, about how do you really enjoy Kinnick Stadium your first time? Man, one of my favorite experiences at Kinnick, going to a game at Kinnick, was parking in the Finkbein commuter lot. Now, for some people, they're like, oh, that's like the low dollar lot. Yeah, those are my people. Those are my people.
It reminds you of the East Side.
Yeah, Travis is the sweet guy. I'm the pit guy, right? I like being around. I like my head on a swivel type of feeling. And there is this thing that happens in the Finkbein commuter lot. You've got about a maybe half-mile walk to get to the stadium, okay? It takes 10 minutes. It's an electric 10 minutes. It is awesome. Now, first of all, the Finkbein commuter lot is the closest thing that I've experienced. I don't want to speak for everybody. It's the closest thing I have experienced at Kinnick Stadium to what they have up at Jack Trice. It is one giant parking lot with one big tailgate. Now, at Jack Trice, they take that and they magnify it by about 10. Jack Trice is that tailgating experience at Jack Trice is cool.
And I've always said that. I said, if you want to look at a true tailgate to stadium experience, I think Jack Trice is second to none. And I've been to a lot of college stadiums over my career. I've always thought Jack Trice was the ideal place for tailgating and just access to the stadium, being close, but yet having an atmosphere right around it.
And that atmosphere all around you, that walk to the parking lot or the walk to Kinnick Stadium, there's something really cool that happens in that walk to Kinnick Stadium. You walk past Dwayne Banks Field. You're walking through a tailgate. You walk through another parking lot that's got some tailgates happening right along the sidewalk. You walk past Dwayne Banks Field. This is how it used to be. I'm talking like this is still how it is. This was 15 years ago that I did this. You walk past the Dan Gable statue, and then you turn this corner, and there's Kinnick. And dude, it's electric. It's electric. Now, especially with my friends, we were usually walking up like as kickoff was happening, and so you could feel it. You feel it. You turn this corner, and there is this magnetism about it. The water in your body moves, and you go, "Whoa, this is really cool." I would say, and Patrick says it's still like that. Thanks, Patrick. I needed to hear that. And by the way, Patrick was sharing some of his amazing story. Holy cow. Good. Glad you're doing well, my friend. The turning that corner, that's what I would encourage Joe to do, is if you can, get to the Finkbein commuter lot. I don't know how much they're charging for you to park there now, but take that walk, have that experience of being around those Hawkeye fans, watching that energy build as you get close to Kinnick, and then you turn that corner, and it's on. It's on. From that moment on, you are in total fan mode. Austin says he thinks it's $50 to park in the Finkbein commuter lot.
Oh my God. $50, and we were making fun of out in Seattle is $100 to park
for the world, for the ALCS.
Yeah. Not far off with the 50. A lot of people saying the South Stadium is where it's at. Stadium is,
dude. Okay, this is the great thing about this conversation. Kinnick does have this thing that Ames does not. And that is, you can. It's almost like remember when you had friends that were they had remedial reading, and it was like learning at your own pace. Kinnick is
remedial reading is where they sent the stupid kids.
Yeah, but it's in this case
you can't say that today.
In this case, we're going to use it as do it at your own pace. Find your rhythm. At Kinnick, you can do that. There is if Finkbein is not for you, dude, the south side of the stadium is a whole different vibe. The east side of the stadium by the Children's Hospital, totally different vibe. West of the stadium, as you go up Melrose, there's a church up on the hill on Melrose, totally different vibe. All really cool, and you'll find welcoming people at every one of them. If you are brave enough to walk up on some strangers and introduce yourself, you're going to be exposed to some really cool experiences, and all of them kind of have a different momentum to them. I would agree. The south side of the stadium, going up with Gary Presnall, Prez tailgates on the south side of the stadium. That was one of my most fun tailgating moments with him because, again, it's just a different feel. That'd be where you would want to be.
That'd be my vibe.
My vibe. There's also just on the east side or west side of the stadium. Sorry, is the what do they call it? Not the camper lot, the RV lot. That's kind of the high donor lot, so maybe that would be more your vibe. I think there's probably a few more charcuterie boards.
I would say Joe is probably more in your way of thinking. So, Joe's a big tailgater, and for years at Rosenblatt Stadium, him and his dad, they would mark out their tailgating spot at Rosenblatt Stadium for the College World Series, and he would take a whole week off, and that's what he would do. He would tailgate every single day with the people in Dingerville and all this stuff. So I think time. And that's what I like about, from what I remember, is that every stadium's different. I mean, Iowa State is wide open, and it's a great experience. And I told him that, I said, being the Nebraska fan, I said, listen, inside Memorial Stadium in Lincoln, it's a pretty cool experience, right? I mean, you have 90-some thousand people.
I mock it, but I mock it out of jealousy. I would love to experience it.
The bad thing about Lincoln is the outside of the stadium is a bad experience. And I know there'd be some Nebraska fans that would disagree with me on that, but it doesn't have that college football feel. Like what I remember about Kinnick Stadium is just the neighborhoods get involved. Everything around there is just, it has a vibe to where you're close to the stadium and you have that vibe before you go in. And that's what I remember. And so, yeah, He's like, God, I just don't know what to do. And I go, I don't know what I can tell you to do, but I know people who can, and it's people right here listening to the show.
Yeah, right. And quite frankly, I would want to turn it over to our listeners as well and say, where would you recommend that Joe go? And like my buddy Flag says, he's tailgating at the hotel on Saturday. I don't even know what that means. Does that mean he's staying in the hotel room? I don't know.
Who tailgates at a hotel?
Or is he like in a hotel parking lot? I'll tell you this. Flagger knows how to get down, so wherever he's at, there's going to be fun. You're going to find fun if you find Flag, that's for sure. Ryan, who's also a fun dude, says that the church tailgate is his buddy, and that's a vibe. That was my brother's friends who were partiers. These dudes had fun. They were at the church for many years, and when I would go up there with my brother, we would usually go hang out with those guys. And dude, that was really turned up. It was a lot of fun. So,
well, I think it's important. I told Joe this. I said I think it's important that you have fun before you go in the stadium because that kind of sets the tone, right? And you know, a game is a game, and I think he's going to see a good game in Minnesota, but you want to be just. You want to get that vibe. You want to, and I hope people are nice to him. I have no reason not to believe they're going to be nice to him. But I go, you're not going to wear red, right? He goes, no, I'm not going to wear red. I said,
there you go.
Perfect.
There you go. Yeah.
Perfect. Don't wear red.
Just don't, because you would just invite the worst parts.
You would invite the insults.
Yeah. And dude, listen, Flag will tell you this too. For a decade that I went to Hawkeye games, I rarely wore black or gold. I just didn't have a lot of Hawkeye gear, and so I was the dude. I would get dressed. In the Saturday morning, I'd get dressed, and I'd go hang out with my friends, and inevitably we would get to leave Carlstead's house, and I'd walk up, and I'd take my coat off, and they'd be like, "You're wearing blue?" I'd be like, "Well, yeah, what's wrong with that?" They go, "We're playing Penn State, you idiot." Oh, do one of you guys have a shirt?
Man.
Do one of you guys have a sweatshirt I can wear?
Did you ever get stuck buying gear when you got to the game? Like, I've got to buy some gear when I get to the game.
The only time that ever happened to me was at Wrigley. I went to Wrigley one time, and in fact, that was the day I saw Max Scherzer's like second or third game ever. And we had
and now he's an old dude.
Yeah, right. We sat next to his family.
Really?
Yeah, sat next to his mom and dad and sister. And we woke up that morning, and it was really warm. We were playing catch out in front of my buddy's apartment in Chicago. So I went down to Wrigley wearing a T-shirt and shorts, and we got out of the cab, and, dude, it was 40 degrees with the wind coming off the lake, and it was bitter. So I had to buy a hoodie. That's the only time I can remember doing that.
I'm going to ask you a pointed question, and this could be for everybody who's listening and watching. Are your best memories the tailgating and the stuff outside the stadium or inside the stadium in the games?
Yeah, my best memories are the plays. My best memories are the things that happened. Beating Penn State, beating Michigan, beating Iowa State. And again, this is not a knock on Iowa State, but I think every Iowa State fan has felt this thing too. When you win that game and everybody's chanting Hawkeye State or Cyclone State or those are the things that you remember. Now, that being said, the tailgate was the primer for all of it. Not being drunk. I don't mean, oh man, you got to get drunk in order to enjoy that stuff. That's not what I mean. You hit it on the head with Joe here. Get there early, and it will help you appreciate that kind of feeling, energy, vibe, all of it. It all kind of starts outside. So that's a good question. But, Trav, if you just said, what are your best memories of being a season ticket holder, I would have rattled off a couple of big plays that I can remember seeing. I would rattle off a couple big moments inside the stadium. But, man, the tailgating, when we used to go, especially with those night games, and my buddies, again, I was along for the ride, man. My buddies would take a smoker and TVs and tents, and we would set up like a living room and kitchen in the Finkbein commuter lot, and then you'd meet all sorts of people that would come over. Hell, the security guards would come over and become our friends.
That's another question I want to ask because, it's been a long time since I've been to a really good tailgate, but I'll use the College World Series as an example. Let's say Mississippi State, LSU make it. Anybody can literally walk up to any tailgate and just participate. So if Joe's going and just walks up to a tailgate, introduces himself, are people pretty welcoming? Say, hey, come on in, have a beer, have a burrito.
Never experienced it not being that way. Never.
Okay.
Now, does it help that you were? I was, with guys that were wearing
True.
black and gold, and you knew they were part of your team and all that. But I would think that he won't have a problem if you've got the ability to walk up to strangers and say, hey, how you doing? Here's another thing. I wonder if you bring something with you to add to the tailgate. But, man, that can be odd. If you show up and you're like, hey, I
got a welcoming gift.
Yeah, right. Can I party with you guys? Mike may have hit a big one here. The trick to being welcome at a tailgate is to be a hot woman. Is Joe a hot woman?
No, but his girlfriend's a hot woman, so that may help. That may help.
There you go, Joe.
Right?
Just have her lead blocker.
That always helps, right?
I've seen a couple of guys mention this. Dude from Iowa points this out. I think this is a wonderful piece of advice to make it easy. Go to the huge parties with the DJ. You'll just mix in. That's a great idea. Charlie has another good one. To get into any party, there's a secret code.
Go Hawks.
It's 2 words. Go Hawks. Yeah, right? Those are good. That's all good advice, and I do think, again, having not been there in a while, I did see a lot of people say the south side of the stadium.
They said north side's the fancy, is for the pretty people. That's where I would hang out, even though I'm not pretty, but that's where I would hang out. And then the south side is where everybody else has a good time.
Dude, no, let's talk about this real quick, because I had this realization the other day when I was getting my hair cut, okay? And again, I don't mean to fluff your pillow. I really don't. You are a good-looking guy.
Oh.
No, there's proof in it. There's proof in it, okay? Because you're
Because Courtney says I am?
Jerk. You're bald.
Wish my wife felt that way.
But, dude, you got to be good-looking to pull off the bald look.
It's not good looking. I have a perfectly egg-shaped head.
Is it the shape of the head?
It's the shape of the head.
Because, man, I was bald for a while, and my part just didn't look right.
Yeah, because but you actually have hair that still grows up here. I mean, I have stubble. My hair is obviously male pattern baldness, but
I've also got this football-shaped head. I'm not egg-shaped head. I'm oblong.
I think you could pull off the bald look with the beard. With the beard. Because it resizes your face a little bit.
So anyway, props to all you bald dudes out there. I think that what that is God just said, this guy's good looking enough. I don't want to distract from my masterpiece.
No, I've seen some bald guys. I'm like, oh, you poor fellow. Maybe you should get a hairpiece. Because. Did you see? I saw the other day, because I follow him on social media, Elias Johnson took his wig off. He posted a picture with him with his wig.
We've talked about that I love Elias. I think he is one of my favorite local media guys. He's just a really stand-up dude. College wrestler. He's a badass, and you got to pull that stuff out of him because he wouldn't ever say, oh yeah, I was a Division I wrestler. And then even when you say dude, you wrestled at Arizona State, he's like, at Arizona State. You're a badass.
There was a time when Arizona State was really good.
You're a badass. And yeah, I remember we were at an event one time, and he said to me, he's like, yeah, my hairpiece, da-da-da. And I was like, what? You what? And he's like, you didn't know? I'm looking at him. I'm like, what?
I don't see where it's glued on. No, well, good ones you won't. Good ones you won't.
Elias is one of those dudes. Good looking guy. God said, yeah, I'm not going to distract from this.
I wonder if he took it off because it's finally not worth how much it cost.
You're the one who told me. I don't know any of that.
Good hair pieces cost a lot of money.
He had some
a lot of money. Oh. Well, but I've been bald for 15 years now, so I've accepted it. I've accepted it. But Joe, if you're listening this morning, I think Iowa fans are going to take you in. I think you're going to have fun.
Got some good advice there, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe start on the south side would be, again, I love the Finkbein commuter lot, but I do think at Finkbein you're going to have to have that ability to walk up to a stranger and push the hot girlfriend forward and go Hawks! Hey guys, is this good enough for my entry into the party?
You're holding on to the back of her shirt, throw her in. Go Hawks! I like it. I like it a lot. There is something exciting about going to a place for the very first time. You know, just because you're like, I've been to a lot of college football stadiums, a lot, just because of the nature of my old job. There were some I like better than others, but I can't say that I ever left going, boy, that was horrible, right? I mean, because every place has something unique.
Yeah.
And it's better when stadiums are full, when there's a good atmosphere outside, but that's why I think it would be fun to go to a game. If you're not even a fan, just say, hey, I'm going to head to Fayetteville, Arkansas this week to watch Arkansas play whoever and not have any ties to it and just take it in.
I've never done that. I've never gone to I've been to Kinnick and I've been to Jack Trice. If I've been to a college football game, like a Division I, I've been to Simpson games. I've been to UNI games. Been to a lot of Grandview games. Been to a couple Drake games.
I've been the only game I've gone to where I've gone to a couple. I went to when Owen was at KU. I went down to Kansas's homecoming. That was an okay experience. I'd like to go now that the stadium's been rebuilt. And then me and Todd Rowland. Todd Rowland's a Des Moines police officer. We were college roommates.
He was a local media guy. He was on Channel 5 for a while, right?
Channel 8. Channel 8, yeah. We, back in like 1994, 1995, went to Legion Field and watched Alabama play Southern Miss. He's a huge Alabama fan, so I said, hey, I can get some media passes. Got him on the field at Legion Field in Birmingham.
Dude, that's
cool. And I remember we helped the cheer squad out by holding the flags and stuff like that, getting them in. So but that was a cool experience.
That's a really cool experience, man. That a unique experience. That's neat.
515-517-2303. When we come back, we are going to hear from Todd Stepsis, head coach of the Northern Iowa Panthers. A lot of things I want to get to Todd about, but remember.
Can we start with this with Coach Stepsis, Trav?
What's that?
As we were having this conversation, I was thinking about Coach. Dude, do you think he's ever been able to go to a tailgate?
Ooh, we can ask him that. We can definitely ask him that. That is a very, very good question. I don't know the answer to that, but maybe, just maybe.
You were getting ready to do a live read. I'm sorry, I interrupted.
No, that's fine. I'm just going to tell you that Halloween is coming up, but if you want to hear something scary good, the Iowa Lottery has already launched their holiday scratch and Instaplay tickets. That's right, holiday-themed scratch and Instaplay tickets are here, so you can go start thinking about gifts that keep on giving all holiday season long, and that would be cash. They not only make great stocking stuffers, but if you're a VIP club member, you can also enter your non-winning holiday tickets into the upcoming Second Chance promotion that launches soon. And we have it on good authority, Ross. Good authority. They're giving away $1 million in total cash prizes. So stay tuned and go to the IowaLottery.com. It is the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
The Rush Radio is now on the free TuneIn app, allowing you to enjoy the show on Apple products and Android Auto. Download the free TuneIn app and search The Rush Radio to take Travis and Ross wherever you go.
You've got enough on your plate, so when it's time to reset, grab a Fresca. Bold citrus, zero sugar, zero caffeine. Just clean, crisp refreshment that never goes out of style, whether it's post-work, post-gym, or just a break from the noise. Fresca's got your back. Pick up a Fresca at your local retailer today.
Your house wasn't built for bats, birds, or raccoons, but try telling them that. At Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions, we've been helping Iowans take back their homes for over 20 years. We use cost-effective, eco-friendly methods to solve wildlife and pest problems the right way. Whether it's bats in your attic, birds in the vent, raccoons in your chimney, or moles in your yard, we have long-term solutions. Call Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions today at 515-218-3400, and let's make sure your home doesn't become their home.
Your tires connect your vehicle to the road,
which means they take the brunt of every pothole, curb, or nail you come across. New tires are one of the most significant maintenance items you can perform on your car.
For the month of October, when you purchase 3 tires, you get the 4th for $1.
And proper alignment is the best way to maintain the longevity of your tires. That's why we give you a free alignment check with any regular service.
Give us a call
or schedule your service online at williscadillac.com.
After Hawkeye football games this fall, Travis and Ross are right where they belong, with you taking your calls and giving unfiltered feedback. Right after Hawkeye football games, it's the Black and Gold Rush on the rushradio.com, the TuneIn app, and on YouTube.
A fuel choice that even rivals can agree on? Now that's worth the hype. Pump it up with Unleaded 88.
The largest selection of German beer in the world? You'll find it at the Hessen House. From Doppelbocks to Oktoberfest to Hefeweizens and Dunkels, there's no passport needed for the deliciously different beer and food at the Hessen House. So grab your friends and make it a fun night out. The Hessen House, 4th and Court, Des Moines.
You know, Brian, at Central City, we really do have the best selection around.
I know, high quality stuff you can't find anywhere else.
Whistle Pig Plantation Rum.
Yeah, and over 150 of the best scotches on earth.
And a ton of bitters, mixers, and more.
You know what we are? High class.
Definitely high class, yeah.
Make way for the natty.
Okay, maybe medium class.
Central City Liquors, home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the Wooden Nickel program.
Back like a rash you thought was gone. Travis and Ross aren't contagious, but they are addictive. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
Hour number 2 of the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. Thanks for joining us on a Thursday. If you're listening on the audio stream at therushradio.com, the Rush Radio Android app, or the TuneIn app, thank you so much for bringing us into your device, whether that be your phone or your car, your tablet. If you're watching on YouTube this morning, hit that subscribe button. We like subscribers. Go ahead and like this video. Start leaving your comments in the comment section. And follow us on X, Facebook, Instagram, and now LinkedIn. We have a LinkedIn page, folks. We won't be.
Yeah, you should like. Travis tells me that it's an amazing
for
networking
business
opportunity.
It is.
And,
It is.
Yeah. And you're way better at that stuff than I am, so I should just shut my mouth and quit making my MySpace references.
Yes, yeah. It's much better than MySpace. I wonder if Coach Todd Stepsis has a LinkedIn profile. Do you have a LinkedIn profile, Coach?
I think you have to. You know, it's everything is everything's social media, so I think that's part of it. It's the, I guess, high class professional social media. So there's not as many I don't know, inappropriate things on that one. That one stays pretty classy.
That's true.
So yeah, I think it's part of it. I'll get reached out. Recruiting stuff is on there. So whether it's a coach sending prospects, or sometimes even a dad is sending his son, hey, here's my son's link to Huddle. What do you think? And so that's you have all of it, unfortunately, because social media. If I could not have it, I definitely would.
Okay, you have it, but do you run your own social media channels? I know in some universities that the university says, hey, we're just going to take over your social media. Are you the one who runs your social media, or is it a combination of both?
It's a little bit of both, but for the majority of it, I'm the one that's running it. So if there's some things that need to be posted, by my page personally, then that gets handled. But then other than that, I'm the one that's responding to direct messages, following recruits, sending recruits, good luck this week, graphics, all that stuff. I take care of.
All right. We were having a conversation right before you came on about tailgating. And I was a season ticket holder at the Hawkeyes for many years. I had some great memories from tailgating with my buddies. And Travis has a friend who's going to be going to Kinnick for the very first time. We were talking about some of those things, and it got me thinking about you. You've been a player. Then you went directly from being a player to being a coach. Have you ever been able to have that experience, Coach, of a true, like, going to a game, with no responsibilities on the field, and you get to enjoy a tailgate. And is that something you've ever been able to do?
I mean, no. I mean, I think the one, so I tailgated a Bengals game, Cincinnati Bengals game, and so that was, back in like late December. So it was right around the holidays, and so I got to do that once. I'm trying to think when else. Well, I got to go to Pitt, West Virginia, and that was
a good game
years ago. But yeah, that kind of opened my eyes a little bit because
was that in Morgantown or was that in Pittsburgh?
That was in Morgantown.
Oh, man!
And so like that, the passion that fans have, and then how nasty they can be towards one another in certain places. I'm sure it's fairly cordial other places, but man, that was an eye-opening experience for me. So I do remember that, and then it was an upset that game too. I remember that as well, where the underdog won, and the town was going to look like it was going to get burnt down.
It's Morgantown. They burn couches on porches.
I was going to ask about that Morgantown thing because I've never been there, but I've heard a lot of people when they say Morgantown, their eyes get real big.
Oh yeah, well,
hard to get to, and just kind of a mountain town, right?
Yeah, it's the stereotype. So in Ohio, Southeast Ohio is right along the Ohio River, which is really close to West Virginia, and it's just, I don't know if river rat is a term, but that's kind of like, it's a little bit different down there. The time has turned back a little bit, and not that those people are bad people. It's just, they go to a different drummer, that's for sure.
Parts of Iowa, river rat's a term of endearment.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
So I know head coaches are creatures of habit and very structured. How hard would it be for you as a head coach to go out around the dome and tailgate for like a half hour take? You know what? I'm gonna walk the tailgates. Because we talked to Bill Fenley about this and other coaches about, when you want to make a connection with fans, you have to reach them one by one, right? Would it be hard on a Saturday for you to go, you know what, guys, I'm gonna go walk the parking lot for a little bit, and I'm gonna show up at a tailgate?
Maybe that's what we need to do. I don't know. We're in a little bit of a funk right now, so maybe that would get us out. But yeah, there's just every game has recruits that come, and so that takes up a lot of the downtime that is kind of in between. When the team gets to the stadium to when warm-ups start, you have other meetings with officials, and there's just a lot going on. The one thing we do is we'll have our pregame meal on campus, and then a short 5-minute walk that actually cuts through the tailgate, to the dome. So it gives us a chance to give some high fives along the way. There's a Panther statue that sits right, kind of where the McLeod Center is and where the dome is. And so we'll gather there as a team, and people that are tailgating will actually come to that point, which is fun. The band's there, cheerleaders, dance team. So it's a really cool vibe. And we'll have a speaker out there. So I'll say a few words. We'll get our captain out there to say a few words. We'll all come together and give a go Cats and head on in. So
that's really
we'll get a little bit of intermingling there, but for the most part, I think it probably would be fun, just to kind of bebop around. But then I'm wondering how many don't you have a job to do? I'm kind of wondering that's probably what people are thinking.
It would be fun just to go, just randomly walk up. Hey, what's going on? Can I, and people go, aren't you? Yeah. I'm just stopping by real quick. Can I have a burrito, please? Can I have a brat? I want to fill up. You mentioned the funk. How bad does your team need a win right now? It's hard to talk about losses. That's why I emailed you yesterday and I said, I hope you're not getting sick of talking about us or talking with us. But how bad do you need a win?
Well, I had to chuckle when I saw that email because you've actually flipped the script on me. And what I mean by that is, and all coaches go through this. I think it's a varying level of a feeling that you have, but there's very few professions out there when you're not doing well at your job that everybody knows. And so I've gone through some seasons where we've had, some losses in a row, and your friends, they don't really know what to tell you or say to you. And so they kind of stop talking to you. Not that they're disappointed, and that you can't, figure it out, but they just don't know what to say because they just know how hard you work. And and just how much you put into it. So, I saw that email. I was like, wow, they still want to talk to me after all this. It's pretty great. But it's tough, going through something like this. I think a lot of guys remember that. I can remember what school in South Dakota he coached for. I think his name was Bob Green. He had all these funny one-liners where, I went to church and my wife wasn't with me, and everybody asked where she was. I want to hang out with losers, So like
that guy was funny.
You kind of feel that way from time to time, but like on the contrary, the true fans, they see the final score and they're disappointed, and all the secret sauce when you're going through things like this is how can you become emotionally detached from the result? How can you stay in process, in the joy of the doing, and that's really what we're focused on now. So while football is that's probably the hardest sport to do that, because you only play so few times and you prepare for so long. But when I see our team on Sunday, they're not losers. They lost a game. They're figuring it out. They're staying in process. They're doing what they need to do. They're fun to be around. There's still a ton of optimism, and so that's really what the focus is on. Is how can we stick to our guns, keep swinging. If you look at our games and we're slowly getting there. There's really moments in those games where, man, if we can just get it to flip just one more time, and that worm turns, and we're going to get this thing rolling. And that's what we're focusing on. We're trying to, the outcome, we know it's important, and everybody wants us to win. And we know that, we're disappointing, some of our fans, but, in-house program, it's strong, and we know that it's just a matter of time before we get that win. The air is going to lift. We're going to feel really good about it, and then the confidence and the courage is going to shine.
We of course in FBS we're seeing coaches get fired quickly in the middle of the season, and I have a question here. I don't want to go you should, but it's one of those things. When you interview for the job, did you sit down and go, hey, I've got a 4-year plan, 5-year plan? Because I don't think it's, unfortunately, coaches now see what Curt Cignetti did, turn it around in a year, and people are like, well, if you can do it in a year, you can do it in a year, and that's the expectation. I don't think that's the case at the FCS level. Just call me crazy. But when you sit down and you go, okay, here's where we're at, I think I've got a 4-year plan. Is it a 3-year plan, a 2-year plan, 5-year? What is that? Is that kind of what you sold when you interviewed for the job, or how does that all take place?
Yeah, I think part of it is here's our mission, here's our vision, and this is what we're going to do to get there. And whatever the cliche is, you can't turn a ship on, and get it moving in the right direction on a dime. Like, it's going to take time. Rome wasn't built in a day, and so that's really what we're talking about. So here you have a roster that is for the majority part inherited, and okay, how do we get to know one another? How do we pull the best out of them? How do we do things that they do well? And so that's really what we're working through now. And you see the Curt Cignettis and some of these guys that really turn it around in a heartbeat. And then you're kind of looking in the mirror and like, dang, what am I doing wrong here? Because that guy, man, he figured it out, and we haven't yet. And so, you just, again, I think the key is just stay true to who you are, and that's really tough to do when you're going through adversity, but that's where the true character shows, is when you're going through tough times. Do you change who you are, or no? I mean, that's when you really show who you are. And so those guys you really admire that, and they stay the same. Hey, they're doing well. They're who they are. When they're doing poor, they're who they are. And it's just, that's what we're doing here. And the administration, they understand that. They recognize that hey, it wasn't great. It's going to take some time to get it great again.
Coach, listen, to go back to the email that Travis sent you, I think Travis is with me on this, and a lot of I look forward to the day when we're having you on here, and we are having these conversations about, man, you got this machine rolling, and I think a lot of people believe in you and see that coming. I hope that you are seeing those little bricks being put in the wall that eventually will build to that, because it's hard to see it when you're on the opposite end of the scoreboard like that. But
But
I can't wait for that time.
And you were close last week against a ranked team. And I know close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades. But now you go on the road to Southern Illinois. Is it good just to get away sometimes? Go, okay, maybe it's good just to get on the road, be in a hotel, build that team camaraderie. And what about Southern Illinois that you see?
Yeah, I think it's nice. Hey, here we are. We're together. Jump on the plane, get down there. Now we're all eating, and it's just us, and it's just the team, and there's a little bit of that to there. And we have our team meeting on Friday, and we try to keep that fun, but then also drive home the message of the week. And so I think there is a little bit to that. There's nothing playing in this dome. I think that's a great advantage that we have, and we like playing at home too. And when we finally get that thing to turn, we'd love to have it be in front of our home faithful. But being on the road and against a great team again, that would be an awesome opportunity for us to go on the road, because we haven't done well on the road yet. This year we've struggled, and so to be able to play well on the road against a really good team, I think can do wonders for the direction that we want to go. Now, it's not going to be easy. They've got try the FCS version of Lamar Jackson at quarterback. Like, this guy is 6'3", 215 pounds, and I mean, he can run and he can throw and he's all over the place. And just when you think you got him bottled up, he squirts out and runs for 70. And they've done a nice job too of, you see the really good teams, their personnel fits their scheme. And so for them, they've got a ton of speed and skill on the perimeter. And so when they're up tempo, they're throwing out quick screens to those athletes to see if they can get a one-on-one with one of our guys. And so they do a fantastic job on offense, putting up points. They've got a ton of weapons. And so, defensively, that's been our strength. These last couple games, our defense has played really well. So they've got a unique challenge in front of them to be able to corral that quarterback, keep him contained, and then, to be able to tackle their athletes in space and eliminate those explosive plays. And the last 2 weeks, they're on a little bit of a skid too. They played North Dakota State up there. They had them tight at halftime, and then the wheels came off, and they got blown out in that game. And then at home last week, North Dakota, which is we played them a few weeks ago, and I think they could be a Final Four team. And all of a sudden, that game was 28-0 at halftime, and it's 38-7 in the fourth quarter, and so. I think they're kind of getting their bearings now back. Okay, hey, we had all these high expectations. What just happened? And so, I think they're in a spot where if we play well, can we get up early? Is it can we get them to feel okay? Here we go again, or are they do they still see a light at the tunnel? Because that's the great part about our league is you don't have to go undefeated to make the postseason. As long as you're in that top four, you're probably going to get in one way or another. But they're another complete team. They have a lot of fun on special teams. That's something that, again, we have to prepare for. Lots of fakes in the kicking game. They've got their punter, kicker, he does it all for them, which is pretty unique in this day and age, where he does all their punting, he does all their kickoffs, he does all their extra points and field goals. And while the QB is a great weapon, that guy's amazing, so he probably could start at a lot of their positions. He's a really good athlete. And so they have a lot of problems, a lot of things that we need to solve this week with a great week of preparation. But at the end of the day, our issue is still offense, and again, that's on me. I'm part of that side of the ball. I spend a lot of time there. So, what can I do to help our players be successful and play with confidence? And because we're going to need to score some points, because this team, they've got the ability to score and score quick.
Travis, any more about that? Because I wanted to go back to the recruiting thing. You mentioned the LinkedIn deal, that sometimes dads will reach out to you via LinkedIn. I had this amazing conversation yesterday with one of our listeners whose daughter is a fantastic hockey player. And yesterday we talked about youth sports, and and just recruiting in general. He was telling me that in they have the same NCAA regulations that you have talked about. You can only see kids so many times, and you got to pick and choose what games you go to. So in hockey, it's the same way. Parents will reach out to schools to say, "Hey, just so you know, we're interested in you," and hope that when you get the chance, you're interested in us. Does that change at all? Like we have these 7-on-7 camps, and you have these 7-on-7 seasons that happen. Do those same rules apply? Is it based on the kid? Like you can only see a player so many times. It doesn't matter if you see him at a camp or
an actual high school game.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Is there like a wiggle room and like a loophole in there where if it's not at a high school game, I can actually talk to this kid, or is it based on the individual?
No, it's actually based on the time of year. So there's quiet periods and dead periods and all this stuff, and there's this calendar the NCAA puts out, and it's kind of been moving around a little bit. It used to be real consistent, and then it's changed some now with like transfer portal windows and how that's all moved around. But there's times a year where, man, you can see them if they come to your campus. You can see them every day. So if it's a guy from Cedar Falls High School and he wants to come watch a practice, like he can like show up and do it and be here every day. And then in the summertime, kind of when you start talking about the 7-on-7 camps, which, like again, I don't know a whole lot of coaches that recruit from there. Like
okay,
I get asked that question a lot. What do you think of 7-on-7 and travel? And like, no thanks. That is not football in my opinion. I would much rather a guy play baseball or run track or do something, do another sport. But in the summer, you have these prospect camps. And so again, we have 4 a year. I think Iowa probably has, probably 4 or 5. Iowa State has 4 or 5. And so we could go to every single one of those camps and see, a kid, if he comes back. I think we've had kids come to multiple camps of ours. And so it just depends on the time of year. You can see a guy as many times as you want.
So not that you need another thing to worry about. And I thought we brought this up maybe a couple weeks ago, but starting November 1st, because Division II and Division III approved it yesterday, your players, even yourself, can start betting on pro sports. Your thought behind that and what education will take place, and I'm sure there's education now on betting, but now that you're like, hey guys, be careful with this, how does this all go down?
Yeah, there's already been education on gambling, to your point. I don't know if there's stuff going on right now, just education on financial responsibility. That's where I think, I've heard a couple of these ideas, kind of thrown out where, hey, you're going to be able to pay the players, but they're not going to get any of that until they graduate or whatever. And so because that's where I just see kids have money now, and it's a drug, it gives you that high, that buzz, all of a sudden, boy, that was fun. And it went well for me and I want to do it again. And then, we're going to get in all kind of trouble. So, we got to be real intentional. Hey, this is no different than any recreational drug out there. It can lead to some big problems.
Really good take on that, Coach. That's a great perspective on it.
Yeah. And so I think that's where we gotta go with it. It's not that it's wrong. And again, I think people are a lot smarter than I am. There's probably a lot of good that can come from it. It's just, that's the part I always just get worried, because 18 and 22-year-olds, they are not perfect. We aren't perfect. We do dumb stuff. No. I'm as adults, the males, I may be 48, but I've still got the attitude of a 16-year-old. I don't think I'm ever gonna grow out of that. And so just, making sure our guys are being smart with, okay, if I've got this, what's the saying? Like don't gamble money that you don't have. Well, making sure that you pound that home and do what you can.
Well, and what I worry about is because I've been there before. I mean, I'm not a huge bettor, but it's like you're okay. You can bet pro games. All of a sudden, you're on a losing streak. Oh, I got to make this up. I know I can win on the college game. Don't take that temptation to go to the college game because you're going to screw yourself. I mean,
yeah. And I tell you what, man, I think someone always asks, would you ever bet on pro NFL games? Like, hell no. Like those games, I mean, the margin in the NFL is so slim. I mean, it truly is. You're flipping a coin, I think, in a lot of those games, to be able to come out on top. So I didn't even think about that where, man, what's an easier win here? Well, shoot, let's bet on this game because I know that team stinks and this team's good. Yeah.
Coach, I think you're right on it, man. There's a buzz, there's a vibration that happens when you gamble, and some people get addicted to it. Some people, I've said this before, some people hate public speaking. They can't imagine having a microphone in front of their face because they don't like that vibration. I'm addicted to it. I'm addicted. Now, luckily, this one's a lot less expensive than gambling. I don't like that vibration that I get when I gamble. I'm not a gambler at all. I'm going to Vegas today. Going to spend the weekend with my buddies in Vegas. They'll throw incredible money at things. I'm going for the dinners and the shows and the walkarounds and the sights.
The hangout,
yeah. I'm going to golf. I'm going to have a great time. Go to the Sphere. I just when my money goes in a slot machine, that vibration doesn't sit well with me, and I'm lucky that I feel that way. I think you're on to something there with it.
Yeah, I'm just like you. I've been to Vegas once. It wore me out. I didn't gamble a ton. I'm tight. And so I don't like to. I don't like to spend money that I know I'm probably going to lose. And so, I'm with you. But at the same point, I mean, adrenaline rush, that's good stuff. To get your heart going a little bit. Coaching football, you get that all the time.
Right.
And as a former player, you look for ways to find a new way to get that rush. And so, I mean, gambling can do it for sure.
Yeah, the last time I was in Vegas, Coach, I'm going to give you way TMI, but the last time I was in Vegas, I actually had to inform my wife there was going to be a really big charge on the credit card because I was at a strip club and had no other way to pay for it. And so I go, hey, when you see this, I had to fess up. It's just like, you don't have to comment on it, Coach.
Travis is a little bit different than us, Coach. Let's just leave it at that.
You were honest. Like that was always rule number one when growing up. It's like, hey man, whatever you do, don't lie to me. And so I appreciate the honesty there. You came clean. I think that's awesome.
Yeah. Did you have a moment, Coach? I can remember when I was a kid, my dad had this gun case, beautiful gun case, and I would play this baseball game in my basement with a tennis ball. And one day the tennis ball hit off the wall just right and went through the glass on the gun case. And I can remember it. It's one of those core memories, man. I was scared to death. My dad was a tough guy. He was a very intense guy. And I remember thinking, he is going to beat my ass when he comes home. And I was bawling. And he walked in the door and I ran to him and I said, Dad, I broke your gun case. And I'll never forget it. He grabbed me and hugged me and said, buddy, you were honest with me. You told me the truth. Wow. And it was like, oh, that's the secret. Okay, yeah. Did you have a moment like that? Do you remember?
I wish I would have learned that before getting my tail spanked. That was, I learned the hard way. I wish I would have thought of that. Hey man, just come clean. Nope. I lied, and then he found out, and we had this. I don't see this much anymore, but we had a paddle at home, and it actually had the words Board of Education.
I love it.
And it had a cartoon of this kid getting spanked by the older guy, and the kid's eyes were like X's, so man, so the Board of Education came out quite often.
Remember the old Foghorn Leghorn when he would paddle the dog and
the dog's eyes would do that?
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. And so yeah, that was always the Board of Education was my dad tributes that to my younger brother, my older brother, myself. Hey man, they're good kids because of that Board of Education. So
I like it.
We
Good
got
stuff.
a lot because of lying, unfortunately.
Yeah.
All right, Coach. Good luck this weekend. We appreciate the time as always. We'll talk to you next week, all right?
All right, take care, guys.
Thanks,
Win
Coach.
or lose, we're looking forward to talking to you next week, Coach. Keep
I
at
love
it,
it.
man. Keep at it, buddy.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Yeah, go get
Coach
him.
Todd Stepsis joining us on the Rush Radio Show powered by Willis Automotive. Don't forget, we want you to sign up for the Full Court Press newsletter. You can get a $50 gift certificate this week. If you sign up, they're going to take one of the signups this week and give you a $50 gift certificate to one of the many Full Court Press establishments. All you have to do is go to fullcourtpressdm.com. That's fullcourtpressdm.com and sign up for the newsletter. And more stuff to come with the newsletter and the Rush Radio Show in the very near future. It is the Rush Radio Show powered by Willis Automotive.
I'm loving these wooden nickels, Brian.
Yeah, I suppose everyone is catching on.
Just spend $20 to get a wooden nickel.
It's 25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings on your next purchase.
Some of these are worth $5. That could be huge.
I know, right? That's why you have to spend $20.
It's 25.
Collect 10. It's like money back to you.
Spend 20, you get another wooden nickel.
It's 25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings. It's huge.
Central City Liquors, home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the wooden nickel program.
It's huge.
No tricks, just treats at Willis Chevrolet of Granger. We've got the largest inventory of new and pre-owned vehicles, all aggressively priced. Get a 2025 Silverado with 0% APR for 36 months plus $1,000 bonus cash. Or grab a 2026 Silverado with 2.9% APR for up to 72 months. Looking for value? Drive away in an affordable Trailblazer with 3.9% APR and 90 days deferred payments. Come knock on our door or visit us online at willischevy.com for these treats, and we won't even make you tell us a joke to get them.
You've got enough on your plate, so when it's time to reset, grab a Fresca. Bold citrus, zero sugar, zero caffeine. Just clean, crisp refreshment that never goes out of style, whether it's post-work, post-gym, or just a break from the noise. Fresca's got your back. Pick up a Fresca at your local retailer today.
After Hawkeye football games this fall, Travis and Ross are right where they belong, with you taking your calls and giving unfiltered feedback. Right after Hawkeye football games, it's the Black and Gold Rush on the rushradio.com, the TuneIn app, and on YouTube.
Missing a quality home-cooked meal? You know, the kind Mom used to make? Lucky for you, we found her recipe book. Welcome to the High Life. Welcome to the Champagne of Bars.
Every business has priorities, and Priority One Heating and Cooling is no different. As a service provider, we prioritize quality air conditioners and furnaces that will keep your home at your comfort level year-round. As a small business, we prioritize doing things the right way and treating people fairly. As a truly local business, we prioritize our community. As a veteran-owned business, we prioritize duty and commitment. For big business service with local value, trust your home to the place where you are always Priority One.
Hi, I'm Bradley Ollinger here at Willis Nissan. Now until October, we are offering buy 3 tires, get the 4th for $1. Take advantage of this deal right now before winter. Go online today at willisnissan.com to schedule your tire placement today, and we'll see you on the service drive.
Rush, strong opinions, weak filters, and just enough sense to stay on the air. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
Welcome back to the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. It's Thursday, and that means our good buddy joins us as he has for years and years and years. Bruno!
A long time, dude. How long have we done this on Thursdays?
Shit, he was part of the TNT days.
Oh, yeah, he was.
That's right.
Wow, 15 years, maybe?
15 years. It's funny.
Cow, dude.
It'll be 15 years. Yeah, this at the end of October.
Does it feel like 25, Bruno?
It's like
Underwater.
Dennis Hopper says, a friend of years is a friend of tears. I'm just the drunk guy on this show.
You're not a drunk.
You know, it used to be on Thursdays that we would, literally you'd crack beers and we would do that. We do that stuff. I don't think I've seen you drunk for. It was up in Canada when we had a wild night in Canada one time. We were passing around bottles of bourbon.
Yeah, with a Cannonball Chaser. I think it was a blend of Northern California Sensimilla and Kentucky Bluegrass.
That's what there the truth comes out. There's the truth. Hey, you guys got a collaboration coming out? Didn't the High Life Lounge and El Bait Shop do a collaboration beer?
Yeah, just one small sip. Speaking of, I don't want to say I didn't get drunk that day, but day drinking, hanging out at a brewery is something that hasn't happened in a long time. It was like noon, and I'm like, man, I haven't had anything to eat today, and I've had like 4 beers. So, no, it's nice. I've got plans to get back into breweries, kind of take the pulse, if you will, of breweries. I just got back from Mesa, Arizona. I took a trip down with my dad. My mom flew, and then Dad and I drove the car down. And we went to my dad was my driver, and we went to quite a few of my favorite places in Mesa in the Phoenix area.
When you say quite a few, you mean like breweries, places?
Breweries, and also beer bars.
Okay.
There's just some really good ones. Beer bars, but there's really good breweries, and I checked out some of my favorites. I hadn't gone. Every time I'm in Arizona and Phoenix, I go to Arizona Wilderness. That's pretty much a given, and then I check out other ones.
There was one, Bruno, from down there. Maybe I'm in the wrong part of Arizona, but and you're gonna have to help me out here, man. It was like Oso or something.
Oso, yeah. Yeah, because we talked about it because of Madhouse. Brody Kaufman used to be the brewer there at Madhouse, and then he was a brewer down at Oso. Then the last time I went down there, I was trying to find him, and I found out he's no longer the brewer at Oso, and he is at a place called El Camino, which is interesting in and of itself. But it's in Scottsdale. It's a different kind of place. I mean, it's different, but it's also like kind of where things are heading. Just simple and straightforward. And
now, when you say
big beer,
when you say the way things are heading, do you mean like geographically businesses are migrating towards Scottsdale, or do you mean like the way the industry is moving? What?
God, I hope not. I'm not a big fan of Scottsdale, but.
Well, I called Bruno last week, and I said, hey, and this is where I want to, because you said you're going to get more involved with the breweries. Ross, over here, Nebraska Brewing Company just filed for bankruptcy, and they closed their doors. Nebraska Brewing Company was a very big brewer. They were probably one of the largest producers of beer in regionally. I mean, they had a big operation, and they closed their doors. Are you seeing a lot more of that, Bruno, or just not expansion, or are you seeing people close their doors?
Well, last year, more breweries closed than opened. Nebraska Brewing's a big deal. If you go to the bait shop on your way to the restrooms, there's a barrel there that's from there. We used to sell a lot of their beers. It's just an adjustment. There's a really great, it's one of my favorite videos, and I watch it all the time whenever I think of it. Gigantic Brewing did an interview in like 2008, I want to say. Gigantic's out of Oregon. And they did an interview, and they say, are there too many breweries in Portland or in the area? And the guy said, it's like, it's pretty funny how he says it. He's like, don't take this the wrong way, but that's a stupid question. It's like, I don't know how you can take it any other way. But he went on to say, is like, are people saying there's too many muffler shops? Are people saying there's too many donut shops? He said, he goes, you'll know when there's too many breweries when they shouldn't open, or they close, or I think it was just a way to kind of explain that it was too early in the game. The craft brewing industry was, for that period of time, let's call it the second coming of craft beer. It was too early to make a call on, do we have too many, or is it a bad business or a good business? The thing is that when a market matures, people have to start making real business decisions instead of everything's a fun party. And so now breweries are looking at how they do work. I'm wearing a single speed coat today. I'm going to visit down to Single Speed later on this morning. And also wearing a bait shop shirt. I'm having a meeting about craft beer at the bait shop before that. But the Single Speed, Dave Morgan has it came out a week or so ago because they were going to the board at Waterloo, to the city council, and that they did a release that said, "Hey, we're going to be partnering and buying up Back Pocket." So they've absorbed Back Pocket into what they're doing. This all started out of an idea they call parallel brewing, where they're sharing the load. They're sharing sales staff. They're sharing the cost of goods, so they can lower the cost per
buy in bulk kind of type deal.
Sharing the cost of things, and what's really great about that, well, what's kind of happened from that is that they've talked to other breweries. Back Pocket purchased and took on the Peachtree beers, so those beers are back out there, and they're consolidating, and that's just where the brewing industry is going. It's kind of a little bit of consolidation, a little bit of running a bit more like a business, a little bit more paying attention to what's going on. I don't think that people are stopping drinking craft beer. In fact, I asked the question every place I went down in Phoenix, have you seen a slowdown? And they're like, they didn't even see a slowdown during COVID because, they have a little bit more of a open air situation that, they didn't have to worry about people being inside and all that. So they didn't see a slowdown then. There's breweries that, you go to your Google Maps and it just gives coordinates for any, breweries, businesses, whatever. Every time I go to some place, there's a new place that closed. It happens more times than I'd like to say, that I look at my map and there's at least a couple of them that are just no longer in existence. But quite frankly, there's probably too many breweries. I mean, at the end of the day, there's a lot of beers that people like. Nebraska Brewing had beers that people liked.
Yeah.
But on the whole, if you're like Travis, you said it's the biggest brewery. Well, big doesn't necessarily mean successful.
It brings more problems, right? I mean, you have this big operation, you have this huge canning operation. All of a sudden, if you're not selling, you're not selling.
Yeah, and then you got places that are just selling the beers that, they just have to make an adjustment. Some are really strange. This Voodoo Ranger that's out there, I don't know if you've seen it in a convenience store, but basically it's just hoppy malt liquor. My dad, I said, he goes, he's going to go to the store, and I said, I really just want to go have a beer. And they're like, well, we need to go to this friend's house. They invited us to supper. I'm like, that's fine. He goes, well, I'll just get beer at the Fry's at the grocery store. And I'm like, don't do that. I don't want beer from Fry's. The grocery store beer is just not especially near a retirement community. They're not the place that has the best selection. So my dad comes home with Voodoo Ranger. They tricked him into the packaging. And I'm just going to say, there's everything wrong with that beer because he got it and he thought, oh, this is going to be good. They like hoppy beers. So, let's give this a whirl. He didn't look at the fine print. Guess what the lowest ABV was on the, there's a four different beers. It's a variety pack, four different beers. Guess what the lowest ABV?
5. I'm going to say if it's hoppy malt liquor, I'm going to say 7.5.
8.5.
Oh,
that's the lowest.
I think it was like the 8.5. Yeah. 8.5. There's ones that are 9.5. And I'm like, the only way I've done this before, I'm like, oh, I got fooled. It's like, oh, it's like juicy and whatever. It says the words that you want to hear, hazy and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then you get back to the hotel room and you're like, what did I buy? I mean, you can taste the alcohol. It's gross to me, but I mean, next person might think it's good. Now, what's good, and I told my parents, is mix it with squirt, mix it with freshly squeezed juices down there, and you mix them in and you put it on ice, and it works. You got to water that stuff down because it's like doing shots of whiskey or having a cocktail. You just can't just keep hammering those beers, especially my parents. My mom drank a half a can of that stuff. She's like, that's all I need. That's way too much. It's over the top. And I don't even understand because it costs more to put more alcohol in something. It's like strong coffee. Do you use more or less beans to make strong coffee? Of course, you use more beans, right?
Well, yeah, or a darker roast. I mean, because if you want a caffeine rush, you use a light roast. If you want a bold flavor, you use a really dark roast. You know?
But if you put a half scoop of coffee into your
That's
coffee
true.
maker, you're not getting either of those things. I'm just saying, my coffee maker says you're supposed to put 5 scoops in, but I have a Dutch coffee maker and it's outstanding. But I'm like, that's a lot of scoops of coffee. But anyway, so it's a cost that I think people are edging back towards, they want to try. Even my dad's like, I'm kind of tired of the hoppy. My mom's side, they like beer, but my dad gravitating back to what he knows. You know what he wants to have? He wants to have a red beer. He wants to have, just like he's always had, a light American style beer, lager, add some tomato juice. And quite honestly, why not? I mean, beer is a social beverage. It's not a get you effed up kind of beverage, and it kind of turned into that. And there's a kind of a turning away of that. And I think there's something to it. They always say, "Oh, I don't want to. I'm not going to drink the beer my dad drank or my grandpa drank, so I'm not going to drink that. Whatever." That used to be like Hams and Schlitz and PBR. I'm not going to drink that. So they wanted to try the craft beer. Well, now these kids are growing up. It's like, I don't want to drink what my parents are drinking. They drink that craft beer. You know what I'm going to drink? I'm going to drink PBR. I'm going to drink not alcohol. Alcohol, drinking's not for me, because the difference between, your uncle drinking Hams is, is a slow and steady, but you go out and drink at barrel aged brunch, you're a different kind of guy than your uncle is at you're getting real drunk, and your kids are seeing that maybe, or they just kind of realize it, or there's articles about it and they're Googling it, things that we never got to do. Then they're starting to see like, wow, you drink like that and it's not going to work. You can't do that. It's not healthy. So there's been a change, but I will argue this. It's more healthy to go out and have a few beers than it is to stay home and scroll on, watch reels,
doom scroll,
or look at your phone and just stare at your phone. I'm here to figure out the problem of how do we get more people out and socialize. It doesn't mean that you have to go out and get hammered. It doesn't mean that you can go for a bike ride and have maybe one beer at a place and then head on home, maybe have some food and a couple of beers. You don't have to sit and have beers till the lights come on at 2 a.m. because most bars don't even do that anymore.
Right.
So
Bruno, dude from Iowa, says he first of all, he asked if you have any updates on any of the new places, but then he said, I want to take my wife out. Where should I take the wife? And I before you answer it, I think that there's a question to answer that question, and it is, what are you looking to do? Because you do offer the full court press establishments offer the full gambit. Do you want to go to the library and kind of have a neighborhood bar? Do you want to go down to the Iowa Tap Room and have like an awesome meal with your wife? Do you want to go to Lucky Horse and have a burger and a frozen old fashioned? So I think that before I would answer,
when somebody walks into the bait shop and says, what beer should I get? It's like, well, if you got to ask a few questions, light or dark, hoppy or not hoppy, malty or hoppy. Do you like Cajun Creole? Do you like Iowa food? Do you like, is it Saturday or Sunday? Do you like really good breakfast? Do you like burgers, Lucky Horse? Do you like chicken? Do you like pizza, Truman's? Fongs, of course, what would you like? Do you want something a little bit, a little bit smaller meal, not, over the top, but a nice new place, the Empire, the Royal Mile? Do you like fish and chips? Do you like German food? Like we have it all. We're like the, the back of the van pharmacy, back in the, we got everything you might need.
What? The back of the van pharmacy. That sounds east side, dude.
That's very east side.
I've been to a few of those.
You're the one that said it, not me. No. We do have. outside of there, I mean, the specific things we don't exactly do. We don't do steaks at our place. That's something, if you're looking for a steak dinner, we're not maybe your person. We do sell beef, but if you're looking for straight up traditional, made by people who kind of, that's their thing, Asian food's not exactly us. But we have almost everything that we have. We sell the top 20 of what people are looking for. You just got to pick which one you want.
You might not have a steakhouse under your umbrella, but man, I think the tap room, you go down there and get a pork chop from the tap room and you
can get
next level.
I think you can get everything. You can go out and have a great time. You just need to decide what you kind of sort of want, they really are all good. Like everyone always like, what's your favorite place? Is like, I don't really have a favorite place. I put a lot of mental energy into the bait shop, but bait shop is born out the idea of the Iowa tap room, and that's why we have 40 some taps at the library. That's why I'm involved with single speed. I like beer and I like thinking about it. I like thinking about beer more than I actually like consuming it on the whole, because I did that already. I did that for 20 years. I've said this and I'll stick by it. There's rarely is a person sitting in front of me that has had more beer than me in their lifetime per year, on average. It's actually kind of crazy that I'm here to talk to you about it. And I really do like, I love the idea of beer so much more than I like being hungover. I can tell you that much.
So you have a release party coming up on November 3rd. It was a collaboration with the High Life Lounge, El Bait Shop, and I believe Exile. And it's a Tang IPA. Is that what it is? A Tang IPA?
Yes. There's video footage of me pouring Tang into the brew with their brewer there the other day. Tang IPA. We've done Tang wings. We've sold Tang at the High Life since we opened over 20 years ago. It's we're also bringing back the shirts. It's a new version of it. We have a shirt that said just one small sip, Tangermeister. Well, these are going to be Tang IPA shirts, orange, really cool shirts. Steve-O's putting those together. It's going to be fun. It was fun to do that. We're going to do more of that. I've talked with Top and Goliath about brewing a beer with them. Talked about with Single Speed. There's a lot of breweries that would be, I'm sure we could brew another batch with Faber out in Barntown. There's so many breweries that we could brew with and work with. This Bait Shop shirt I'm wearing is celebrating the 10th anniversary of Surly and Bait Shop. We're the same age. So I have, we never brewed beer with Omar up there, but I think we should. We'll probably should also celebrate our 20th year in May when we turn 20 at the Bait Shop. It's going to be a fun year. And things like the Octobox and the Tackle Box, which we got a Tackle Box coming up with Reunion out of Iowa City. And then Odell out of Colorado. We got a Octobox this Friday. And Reunion today at 4 p.m. Reunion is one of my favorite breweries in Iowa.
We should remind people the Octobox is at the library.
Yes,
it is basically 8 taps that you guys dedicate to one brewery at a time. Traditionally, sometimes it's a collaboration thing. And you can go there and you can either get a flight of beers, I think, but you can get a variety of beers from one brewery and really get an idea of what that brewery offers. I think it's a great idea.
And we invite the brewer or the owner, definitely a sales rep to this event, so you can meet and talk to them about what's going on. And I just think it's a great way to it's sort of like samples at the grocery store. Sample it out, see what you like, and then decide if you like it or not, and have a good time, meet the people. If you really like the brewery, it's fun to go do that. There's always some kind of swag that they hand out. And then, people always talked about doing tap takeovers. We've never been able to do tap takeovers at hardly any of our places. Most of them wouldn't make sense. And then the beer bars that we do have, you couldn't do it.
Yeah.
We do tap invasions. because no one's really going to put on 262 beers.
Right.
I think Bell's did. Like they did the Pepsi challenge. I think we got up to like 40 one time Bell's, which is absurd because it's just a lot of Bell's.
Yeah,
it's like it's a little bit too much. But to do 5 to 8 of their beers is really cool. But I am working on a concept that will be a tap type takeover. And I'm working with Single Speed to work on this idea. Stay tuned. This is going to take me 15 months to be working on.
It's a deep tease. It's a 15-month deep tease.
But I'm going to tell you this. It's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one.
Listen, and Bruno, you've proven your worth here when you put your. I love these deep teases because now I know for the next 15 months this will be your passion. It's going to pour out of you like. About every third conversation we have, you're going to mention this thing because once you dedicate yourself to something, and again, I'm in this thing of fluffing up my friends here lately, apparently, but I do mean it. Like,
that's nothing of the sexual nature.
No, not that type of fluffing. We saw this with the Empire, right? You become compulsive about something, and it kind of consumes your part of your brain for a while, and then I love to see that as your friend. I love to see that kind of pour out of you as you get closer, and you see your energy grow and grow and grow for something. So when you finished the Empire, I even said, what's next? There's something new. There's something interesting that you're going to find in your brain to
I wish I would have deep teased Skull a little bit more, because if I would have said the words Scandinavian whiskey taco bar enough times, people would have probably said, I just think you might have gone off the rails, buddy. So I'm gonna this deep tease, I'm just gonna keep saying, have a good one. Everyone have a good one. You should always drink a good one. Everything is good.
And it does sound like our dude from Iowa says he's going to hit the Empire with his wife. So
the Empire's good because you got the Royal Mile there and Hessen House down the street. You can park your car and go to 3 places, so you can't hardly miss out.
And don't forget, you can pick up a $50 gift card from Full Court Press by going to fullcourtpressdm.com. And people who register, you're going to be automatically into a drawing for a $50 gift card.
Sign up for the newsletter.
That's right. All right, Bruno, we'll talk to you next week, buddy.
See you, bud.
See ya.
Bruno joining us on the Rush Radio Show. Ross, you're off to Las Vegas. I want you to have a good time, my friend.
I'm gonna, buddy. Thank you so much. I will talk to you tomorrow morning from the suite inside of Caesars.
Wow.
And tonight, I'm going to the Sphere tonight, I think. We'll go to the Sphere to watch Wizard of Oz, so I'll have a recap of that for you.
Cool. I can't wait to hear about it. And don't forget to pump it up with Unleaded 88. It's grown by Iowa corn farmers right here in the state of Iowa. So pump it up with Unleaded 88. Go to iowacorn.org. See you tomorrow, everybody.
It's Body Armor. Real hydration with electrolytes. No artificial dyes and coconut water. Choose better. Body Armor.
With over 260 beers on tap, El Bait Shop isn't just another craft beer bar. It's the best. Beer lovers know. El Bait Shop, 200 Southwest 2nd, Des Moines.
There's a new spin on casual dining near Drake University. Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers. Craveable faves, flatbreads, delicious burgers, frozen cocktails, and a crazy cool vibe. Get to Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers today.
Are you thinking about buying a home this year? Start by getting pre-approved with Gary Presnall at Northwest Bank in Des Moines to see how much you can qualify for and what loan programs meet your needs. Gary can get you pre-approved in 30 minutes or less with a pre-approval letter to you. Gary offers first-time home buyers programs, VA loans along with FHA, IFA, and conventional loans. Call Gary at 515-975-6767 or find his profile at nw.bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
After Hawkeye football games this fall, Travis and Ross are right where they belong, with you, taking your calls and giving unfiltered feedback. Right after Hawkeye football games, it's the Black and Gold Rush on the rushradio.com, the TuneIn app, and on YouTube.
What's going on, everybody? Mason Miller, sales manager out here at Willis Infinity. I'm excited to talk about some new things we have going on this month in October. Right now, we only have a handful of 2025 models left. We have $10,000 in retail cash on 2025 80s. We have $8,000 on QX60s, and we have $6,500 on QX50s and 55s. Also, all 2026 models, we have $2,000 off. For more information, come visit our showroom or online at willisinfinity.com.
Bread is made from scratch, freshly baked with locally sourced ingredients and love. At Big Sky Bakery, we take great pride in our delicious products. We know you'll enjoy them almost as much as we enjoy baking.
Looking for the perfect golf escape? Experience Links-style golf right here in Ames at Coldwater Golf Links. With rolling fairways, large greens, and unique routing, it's golf the way it's meant to be played. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, you'll love our course's welcoming atmosphere and friendly staff. Grab your clubs, book a tee time, and make every round unforgettable. Coldwater Golf Links, where great golf leads to great memories. Visit coldwatergolf.com to book your round today.
Back to the rush. Strong opinions, weak filters, and just enough sense to stay on the air. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.